Hello, and thank you for attending this webinar on exploring trends in corporate social responsibility and initiating strategic corporate partnerships. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Austin Hansen, and I'm a communications professional living and working in Washington, D.C. I am also a part-time graduate student at Georgetown University, pursuing a Master of Professional Studies in Public Relations and Corporate Communications. I'm very happy that you chose to participate in today's webinar, and I look forward to your comments and feedback. I hope we can continue the CSR communications conversation, and I welcome your thoughts. That being said, I know that you all have very different reasons for being here today. Perhaps you're a nonprofit interested in working with a corporate partner, or perhaps you're interested in getting corporate funds or visibility to a corporation's audience. Then you'll want to take part in CSR. In today's webinar, you will understand three objectives: what CSR means in today's marketplace, the trends in corporate giving and how this can affect your potential partnerships, as well as the steps to formulating successful, mutually beneficial corporate partnerships. Let's take a step back and review some of the statistics surrounding the trends in corporate social responsibility and strategic corporate partnerships. Over 90% of Americans say that a company should consider supporting an issue that is important in the communities where it does business, as well as an issue that is aligned with the company's business practices. Partnerships can create more impact if there is alignment between business practices and local community initiatives. Over 40% of consumers would buy a product associated with the cause, and 7 out of 10 people have done so in the past year. 80% of consumers say they are likely to switch brands to other brands similar in price and quality if the other brands support a cause. The average medium-sized company makes 1,200 to 2,000 gifts per year, including employee matching through corporate giving programs. Because of corporate giving, employees of companies are a very vital audience. 80 million Americans make up the millennial cohort, which totals over $1 trillion in current U.S. consumer spending. Millennials care about a variety of causes, and 1 in 5 millennials leverage social media to directly support corporate social impact efforts, ranging from signing pledges to making donations directly. 88% of Americans want to hear about CSR efforts. CSR and cause communications channels are evolving, and even though a majority of Americans want to hear about CSR efforts, the messages must be transparent and authentic. Whether you are a nonprofit or for-profit, research has shown that the goal of CSR is to advance social impact integration between the two sectors and communicate impact. Now, if you could define CSR, how would you define it? CSR means many things to different groups, and it is a rapidly evolving movement. Sometimes it is corporate social responsibility, CSR, CR, corporate citizenship, corporate sustainability, or corporate giving. Keeping track of all of those names can be exhausting. So that being said, what does CSR mean in today's marketplace? According to a study done in 2010 by the International Journal of Management, CSR as a concept means that it is not only the right thing to do good, but that doing good also leads to doing better. Triple Pundit defines CSR as a business outlook, which acknowledges stakeholder responsibilities including suppliers, customers, and employees, as well as the relevant communities and the natural environment in which a business operates. 35 years ago, many businesses believed that corporate social responsibility was an option. Research suggests that 35 years from today, corporate social responsibility will no longer be an option. Businesses need consumers, and consumers today want to support good causes through their purchases. Consumers also expect businesses to be responsible in their operations through their supply chain. Many businesses today are seeking nonprofit partnerships that not only support the communities in which they operate, but also help them to reduce their footprint on the environment through their supply chain. So what does all of this mean for nonprofits? Well, nonprofits offer social and community capital, and corporations offer human and resource capital, in addition to funding. Together, goodwill and community trust can very much cut both ways. Social good integration incorporates goodwill into a mission that was originally without a goodwill component. Shared value proposition is when a company creates measurable business value by identifying and addressing social issues that intersect with their business. Cross-sector collaboration is the meeting of the minds to tackle issues from both the nonprofit and for-profit sector. Therefore, CSR initiatives are transactional partnerships that facilitate social good integration, shared value proposition, and cross-sector collaboration. As we just discussed, CSR relates to many areas, but I'm only focusing on CSR initiatives as they relate to corporate giving and strategic philanthropic partnerships. So as we take a look at CSR initiatives under the microscope, I've outlined the 4 trends for corporate giving today as follows. First, strategic philanthropic investments are in, and one-off relationships are out. Second, champions are effectively cutting through a cluttered cause landscape. Third, corporations are optimizing how and why they communicate about CSR. And last but not least, that millennials are shaping the future of CSR. Let's take a closer look at each of these trends in a bit more detail. Strategic philanthropic investments are in and one-off relationships are out. The pressure is on for corporations to be transparent. Many corporations are seeking opportunities to partner with nonprofit organizations. So what does this mean for your nonprofit? Capitalize on this opportunity to increase cause awareness by actively engaging in strategic philanthropic initiatives with corporations. Seek and be sought. It's important to develop long-term investments that address some of the challenges your organization faces. Determine what you want. Make sure that you look to fill different kinds of needs with your corporate partner. It may not simply be about money, because some companies want to give more than just money. Start to think, do you want volunteers? Do you want event sponsorship, pro bono assistance, in-kind donations, visibility, or ad space? So on and so forth. This is where you can be creative and really think outside the box. In the next slide, we will look at an organization that I think is successfully accomplishing these goals. Every organization is a champion for their cause. It's something to be proud of, and there's no doubt about that. However, in a competition to cut through a cluttered cause landscape, it can be very difficult to give everyone a gold medal. For example, breast cancer is a very important cause around the globe. In the US alone, there are nearly 1,400 charities affiliated with breast cancer awareness. Because of this, pinkwashing has often been the phrase coined as the cause marketing efforts and consumer goods associated with Breast Cancer Awareness Month in October. If you have 1,400 charities trying to communicate breast cancer awareness efforts, it can be very hard to cut through the clutter and get your messages heard. One organization that is doing an exquisite job of cutting through the clutter is the Young Survival Coalition, otherwise known as YSC. I definitely encourage you to peruse their website after this webinar. On this slide, I'm showing a page on Oakley's website where YSC is featured as Oakley's charitable partner. YSC's core purpose is to improve the quality and quantity of life for all young women facing the challenges of breast cancer. Oakley and YSC are helping to support a joint mission of action, advocacy, and awareness. As a partner, Oakley produces YSC special edition sunglasses and apparel. Oakley produces $20 from each sale of these special edition sunglasses and 10% of special edition apparel to YSC. Oakley supports young female athletes with its active apparel and its sports and performance sunglasses, and YSC is dedicated to the critical issues unique to young women facing breast cancer. Together, Oakley and YSC are shedding light on the reality that young women must be aware of the risks of breast cancer, advocate for the cause, and act to improve the informational resources available. This strategic partnership has generated over $1 million for YSC. In this case, YSC increased its in-kind donations and its visibility through its partnership. Now, let's take a look at how and why corporations communicate about CSR. It's important to know who your influencers are and how to utilize them. Corporations can facilitate as influencers, amplifiers, and motivators in the communities you serve. Corporations can be conduits for cause awareness. Corporations can help you expand your reach in communications and be mayors of the cause. Try to identify business challenges that you can help a company address. As a nonprofit, offer collaboration with a corporation while bearing mutual challenges in mind. Then, that corporation will want to bolster messaging and marketing for the cause. Take Patagonia. In this example, Patagonia developed its Common Threads partnership architecture around accountability. By showing its progress and partnership particulars and taking an investment from its supply chain, Patagonia has become heavily involved in the environmental cause, and it's ultimately using its business to try and fix a global and social problem. Patagonia's mission statement states that they build the best product, do no unnecessary harm, and use business to inspire and implement solutions to the environmental crisis. Patagonia's Common Threads partnerships recognizes the need and the opportunity as a corporation to adhere to environmental accountability and sustainability. The motto of this campaign is reduce, repair, reuse, recycle. This partnership is one of many affiliated with tackling environmental and societal challenges, including 1% for the Planet, Blue Sign, and Fair Factories Clearinghouse, just to name a few. Companies can provide tremendous value to nonprofits, and nonprofits can establish relevance in a company's future by reorienting the business to incorporate societal issues. Patagonia recognizes it has a long way to go, and it may never be entirely responsible. Instead of guiding their sustainability and corporate responsibility practices with a predetermined roadmap, they rely on their key partnerships to maintain and communicate its CSR initiatives. Additionally, Patagonia's partnership with the nonprofit Fair Factories Clearinghouse, otherwise known as FFC, has been another instrumental part of its environmental accountability and sustainability initiative. Because of this partnership, Patagonia is committed to improving its fair labor practices and safe working conditions throughout its supply chain. The Fair Factories Clearinghouse provides Patagonia with relevant data and reports on improvement in order to retain status with FFC. In the Common Threads partnership alone, over 60,000 people have committed to the Common Threads pledge, and Patagonia has recycled over 55 tons of clothing since 2005. By pledging, you commit to reducing what you buy, and Patagonia will help you repair your gear, help you donate what you no longer need, and take back any gear that is beyond repair. Together, individuals in Patagonia are tackling environmental accountability and reducing our carbon footprint, one relevant key partnership at a time. Millennials are incredible influencers. Millennials are independent and they seek healthier lifestyles. They seek affirmation from their peers and want all organizations, nonprofit or for-profit, to tell them the truth and to be authentic. Millennials in the volunteer workforce and millennial employees of corporations are critical stakeholders and can also be a nonprofit's best cheerleader. The triple bottom line, people, planet, profit, is not only embedded in a company's CSR model, it is becoming the ideal way to attract and retain new hires. 80% of millennials want to work for a company that cares about its societal impact and contributions. Both in and out of the workplace, we are noticing this trend of a participatory culture of sharing amongst millennials, also known as peer-to-peer participation. An excellent way to reach millennials, whether they are employees or volunteers, is through corporate partnerships. The 2013 Millennial Impact Report determines that the model of millennial giving is to connect, involve, and give. Connect. In order to connect, millennials in all sectors prefer to share information about and get behind a cause, not simply an organization. Involve. In order to involve, millennials view volunteer opportunities as a way to connect with like-minded peers, which moves them to act, also known as peer-to-peer involvement, such as State Farm's Cause and Effect campaign here. Give. In order for millennials to give, millennials want to use their networks, family, friends, and colleagues to fundraise on behalf of causes or organizations they are passionate about, which is called peer-to-peer fundraising. State Farm's Cause and Effect campaign used a key strategy of measuring and communicating accomplishments on social networking platforms. What they did was document the partnership evolution by polling their audiences on where State Farm should use their philanthropic grant dollars in the local communities they serve. With compelling stories, coupled with data, State Farm created a powerful impact. The stories were very genuine, and State Farm's very own Youth Advisory Board then voted upon the winning organizations. This Youth Advisory Board was responsible for helping State Farm administer a $5 million service learning initiative and match a cause with a local nonprofit that could help implement a solution with the State Farm grant dollars. The campaign received 1.2 million votes from 38,000 Facebook fans, and the Youth Advisory Board consulted and narrowed the list to 40 causes. According to Network for Good, State Farm translated a core business practice into meaningful digital engagement and respected nonprofit resources, including social capital. Involving the Youth Advisory Board was a critical component of the campaign because the board as a whole is considered to be a trusted philanthropic advisor to State Farm, and each member of the board is invested in the community impact. State Farm's Cause and Effect campaign is a brilliant example of how to effectively tap into the participatory culture to generate community impact from millennial engagement. Now, perhaps you're inspired or maybe just overwhelmed, so you need to know what to do next. Let's take a look and review my tips for the 5 steps to secure successful corporate partnerships. The first 2 steps are critical and are all about alignment. Alignment is key. Don't try to fit a box in a circle. Those shapes don't match up. If the fit is not there, don't push it. Ultimately, you want to make sure that the fit truly makes sense for both parties involved. Remember, this is a transactional partnership that is mutually beneficial. So determine what you want. As we covered earlier, is it volunteers, ad space, event sponsorship, etc.? Consider the fact that corporations want to be able to offer more to you than just money. They want to offer time, people, expertise, and resources. Determine what you have to offer. Is it audience, rapport with clients, visibility, brand loyalty, neighborhood and community trust, volunteer opportunities, stories of impact? Now, we know this part should be quite robust. Then, prepare a list of corporations that have similar missions or specific challenges that they are facing. See if your missions can be aligned, and if your nonprofit value proposition can help them address their challenges. After you have your list, make sure that you have researched and identified a viable contact and backup contact for each corporation. Then it's time to reach out and get connected. Leverage your network here. Feel free to use LinkedIn, Twitter, and other associations to make connections. A simple email with a background description of what you have to offer and setting a time to discuss partnership particulars would be perfect. Make sure to provide all contact details and make the subject of your email actionable. Now, reaching out is the hardest part, but informational meetings are very important and often lead to transactional connections. Don't get discouraged. Following up once or twice is perfectly reasonable, and when your meeting is set, make sure that you have prepared a one-pager of your qualifications, recognition, previous partnerships, upcoming events, key leaders of your organization, and maybe a few quick and relatable facts. Think of this one-pager as a resume of your organization, a document that really advocates who you are and what you do. Also, note that if you already have partnerships in place, feel free to do an audit to see how things are going. Do a pulse check to see if the dynamic with your existing partnership is still positive. This list can be used as a living checklist document and can be applied to evaluating your current partnerships. But of course, if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Now, I've also provided a list of links from the case studies that we discussed tonight, as well as links to Triple Pundit, Network for Good, and CSR Wire, which all have invaluable information on CSR trends, case studies, articles, news, and events. I also included a bullet for Google Alerts. If you're interested in this topic or anything in the realm of CSR and do not already have Google Alerts set up, I highly recommend that you do set them up so that Google can initiate some of the research on your behalf. As we discussed, CSR is a rapidly evolving topic, and it pays to keep up with the current conversations and the current trends. So now I would like to take the time to thank you all for listening to this webinar. I would be delighted to continue chatting about CSR and partnerships. I've included my contact details here, and please feel free to reach out should anything arise or if you need additional information, and I look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.